This is your opportunity that you're never going to get back. Lean in. Are you building this right? So much of what I do, people never even know. I wanted to pour into you today without a guest because this was just on my heart. Welcome back to another episode of The Burn. I am Ben Newman, and you know how we do this every single week. We're going to bring you a story of an athlete, an entertainer, a celebrity, somebody who has understood that why and purpose is not enough. You have to understand that underlying burn that ignites your why and purpose and causes you to be disciplined on the days you don't want to do it, and especially after you win. Now, every week we always bring you a guest, but sometimes you just get me. And this is one of those weeks because I wanted to bring you a special story and a special example for you to lock in and to attack and to embrace every single day that you're given. Because right now we live in a world where we're in the middle of a presidential year and you've got market conditions and you have all the media and you have all this clutter. And I want all of you to remember the importance of staying in your lane, surrounding yourself with the individuals who love you, support you, and help you grow, not the people who pull you down. Small circles create big damage. A lesson I learned from Tyron Woodley before he became the UFC welterweight champion of the world. And a lesson that he still, as a very successful entrepreneur, even after his 5-time world championship run, continues to live in his life today. So how important is that for you? How important is it for you to stay in your lane, to continue to do the things that drive discipline in your life on your journey? In this world that we live in where people are trying to tell you how you're supposed to show up in life. Take control of your life. Don't give anybody your power. Decide and choose to live to be your best one day at a time because that's how winning is done. And so I want to tell you a fun story about one of the greatest mentors in my life, an individual who continues to influence me every single day, an individual who words he has shared with me in my life are part of my legacy statement that I read every single day. I can see him, I can hear his voice reminding me of those words that he shared because he's had that big of an impact on me. And there have been so many mentors, so many coaches. I've been so blessed on my journey of life to have individuals who were there for me, individuals in that small circle, individuals who poured belief in me when I needed it. And I still need it. No matter how many championships you see that I'm a part of, no matter how many companies I have the blessing of being a part of, and no matter how many stories I help people write behind the scenes, things you don't even know about, I still have 2 coaches. I'm reading books every day, fighting to be the best that I can be one day at a time. We are all in this fight together, coming for everything. If you haven't figured it out, I know you've probably been guessing. The individual I'm talking about is Ed Milet. And Ed is one of the most extraordinary, passionate human beings I've ever met in my life. And Ed has said things during critical periods of time in my life that I needed to hear him when he said them. And he continues to be there for me, to fight, to be my best. Ed, thank you for everything that you do for me. And thank you for always challenging me and asking the tough questions and helping me get inside the details. I remember one of my favorite conversations where we got in the details was when I flew out to honor you when you wrote your book, The Power of One More. And you invited a handful of us speakers and coaches out. We had the blessing of honoring you for all these individuals who supported your book to make it one of the fastest bestsellers in the history of books. It continues to be probably and will end up being the #1 personal development book ever written, The Power of One More. If you haven't read the book yet, you've been sleeping under a rock, living under rocks. You need to get a copy of the book. But I go out to honor Ed, and we're sitting at this dinner table. If you can picture this, this is like a table of love and support for Ed. You had Erwin McManus. You had John Gordon. You had Brendan Burchard. You had Jamie Kern Lima. And I'm sitting right to Ed's right. And we're all there to pour into all of these individuals who supported Ed, but to support Ed to remind him how much we love him. And he looks over at me. I'll never forget it. And he's just smiling. He's laughing. He looks and he goes, Ben, why the hell don't more people know who you are? And I thought it was an interesting question, but he said it like, man, like you show up with this fire for life, and I've appreciated how he's poured into me and challenged me. But he was dead serious, like more people need to know who you are. And I told him, I said, Ed, I said, well, part of my career is devoted to doing things behind the scenes that many people never even know happen. I said, Ed, in my 5 years at Alabama, which had overlap in my time at North Dakota State and now Kansas State with Coach Kleiman. So when I was on Coach Saban's payroll, Coach Kleiman's payroll, pouring into both of their teams, winning national championships with both of their teams, I would be at Alabama 15 to 20 times a year. You see, people think that maybe I'd show up one time a year for training camp and give a speech. That's not how I work. I'm a performance coach. I'm there all the time. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm a coach. It's about driving long-term growth and sustainability with each and every single one of you. And then I'd be at Kansas State on the sideline every week for all their games. That's another 15 to 20 visits. I'm like, Ed, that's like 30, 40 days out of the year. Just right there on those visits. Because I go deep because I'm a coach. And I said, then you throw in the organizations, financial firms, individuals I'm doing this work for where there's visits and then trips where I go behind the scenes to help some of the greatest leaders and coaches in the world prepare for a speech, and I'll fly to go see them, or there's an emergency situation and I go to fly and see them and people don't even know that I'm there. And so Ed, there's all this time where I'm coaching. And he looked at me and he just understood. And he said some things that night. And he said some things that next day when I walked off that stage that have forever changed my life. And some of you might be mad at me, but I'm going to keep those words between he and I. But I read them every day. Every single day. And his words fuel my belief. You see, I grew up with a father where nothing was ever good enough. I was just hammered and beaten with my father's words. You know, I often say I wish my father would have just hit me because the wounds, the bruises would have gone away. But the pain of my father's words, they controlled me for almost my entire life. And then there's people like Ed. There's people like John Gordon, who was at that table. People like Erwin McManus, who have been there for me to help me realize the strength that lies within because of the pain that we go through. Individuals who challenge you. Ed was challenging me that night. Maybe he was thinking, Ben, are you working hard enough? Because there's something in you and you need to let the world know. But then he understood that was my choice to stay in my lane, to maybe speak on less stages, but to go deeper in the locker rooms and the boardrooms that I was in. And he has supported and loved me and believed in me like nothing I'd ever experienced in my life. Some of the words that he said, I'm telling you, I listen to them every day. Maybe there's somebody for you in your life. They've shared those words. Keep those words in front of you. Because there's going to be periods of time in your life when you need those words. And we don't know when that challenge and adversity strikes. So wouldn't it be logical to just keep those words in front of you every day the way I do Ed's words for me? Thank you, Ed. Thank you for caring enough to always ask the tough questions. Thank you for caring enough to actually say the words that we all need to hear. The words that I never heard from my father. But I've been blessed to have individuals like you in my life to say them and to mean them and to hit me in my heart and to help me find strength that I didn't know I had. You see, many of you would probably watch my journey of life. Heck, you can go back to that year I alluded to Tyron Woodley. I was with him in 2016. That night where he knocked out Robbie Lawler, Lawler drops his hand, bang, hits him with a right. 1 minute and 12 seconds into the first round in Atlanta, Georgia, and Tyron Woodley becomes the UFC welterweight champion of the world. I was there that night. I literally partied with Tyron that night. 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm pouring champagne on his head. I was almost the second knockout of the night. I then the next day had to fly to Dallas for a huge keynote. And then from Dallas, I had to fly to Jacksonville, Florida, to where I was going to be at Jaguars training camp. You see, people have watched this journey for a long time. They probably thought, oh, like Ben doesn't have challenge and adversity. Bullshit. We all do. But I've been blessed to have people like Ed to support me and to help me grow and to push me and to challenge me and to help me realize and to ask those tough questions. Really, what was Ed asking that night? Are you in the right lane? And then now he understood, oh, he's in the right lane. I've been doing this for almost 20 years. And I'm still fighting to get better every day. I've still got my 2 coaches. I'm reading books every day, trying to get better. Have friends and mentors. I'm high maintenance if you haven't figured it out by now. But this is part of the journey. And some of you might be saying, like, you figured that Ed doesn't go through challenge, Ben doesn't go through challenge, Jamie Kern-Lima, who is at that table, doesn't go through challenge, John Gordon, Erwin, we all do. You're not the only one. I'm in it with you. You know, just because we now have a program called Coach to Coaches, where now everything that I had been doing with all these leaders and coaches who have turned to me for almost 20 years have come, everything I'd been doing behind the scenes, now we have classes of 50 people, 4 classes a year. We're in the middle of our 2nd class right now. Everybody's loving it. We have some of the greatest champions to ever walk the face of the earth that are in these classes. Some of the fastest growing entrepreneurs that are in these classes. Some of the top leaders, influencers, people you turn to for advice that are in these classes.
Have you thought about writing a book, but just don't have the time? We would love to help you make that dream come true this year. Introducing B&C Publishing. We offer an in-house 3-step process to help you bring your book to life. The whole process only takes 60 to 90 days. Compared to 18 months for traditional publishing methods, we work fast. To see if we are a good fit to work together on your project, email our team at info@bennewman.net. That's info@bennewman.net. Now, back to the show.
Just because I'm the coach leading that group, doesn't mean that I don't go through challenge and adversity and I don't need to hear Ed's words. So yes, if you're listening and you want to become part of Coach to Coaches, because now you might be wondering, what is Coach to Coaches? Go check out Coach to Coaches. I would love to help you understand what I've done behind the scenes for the last 20 years, why these individuals have come to me. And one of the main reasons why is because I keep it real. It's conversations like this, where when that vein pops, you know that's passion and conviction and fire. It's not me yelling at you. It's me pleading with you. Go seek the mentors like Ed Milet. Listen to the words that they say. Keep those words in front of you. Just because you've had success, don't be seduced by it. Lean in more and recognize that your greatest strength comes from your challenge and adversity, and you shouldn't want it the easy way, which means you need to keep yourself uncomfortable. So just because people could see that success I had just in that 1 year, 2016, damn near 8 years ago, you think I don't need coaching? Or I could tell you success of other years? National championships at Alabama, Big 12 championships, national championships with Coach Kleiman, helping coaches from the last, or players from the last 6 Super Bowl championship teams, work with Microsoft and Google. Yes, I fall hard. And I need Ed to help me evaluate and to ask the tough questions. Am I doing the right things? Because we're never finished. It's an own it mentality every day. It's understanding that your success in life is long obedience in the same direction with aggressive patience. And that's why I love the work that I do as a coach. Because whether it's Coach to Coaches or one of you as part of our group Uncommon Live, We formed Uncommon Live, Tyler Kirk, my business partner in legacy media, where we help people grow their brands every single day, run their social media, run their online forums and summits. Tyler's been working with me for almost 10 years. We formed legacy media. In 2020, during COVID, when everybody is just listening to the media saying, I can't do anything, we formed Uncommon Live. We ended up having 50 initial legacy members of Uncommon Live, a program where I coach people live every single month. 2 sessions with me. One with Sean O'Brien, who's a business partner and coach, does speaking and coaching for us, played baseball at Duke, one of the sharpest coaching minds. Same thing. He's so in on coaching, he isn't standing on a bunch of stages. Most people don't know who he is. They need to know who he is because we're helping people write amazing stories in those groups. There's now hundreds of members of Uncommon Live. And we get together and we unite at amazing events that we throw. We did a boot camp in Las Vegas where Ed and I opened the event. We flipped the Palms Ghost Bar into our own private casino. Many of you were there last year. Turned it into our own casino, had a casino night. Ed and I, with the Vegas Strip behind us, were pouring into everybody to start that opportunity. We had some of the greatest speakers in the world, some of the greatest champions in the world. That event closed with Tim Grover. Heck, we had a plank championship. This year, we're going to Puerto Rico. John Gordon is opening that event on a private island where everybody's getting boated to a private island. There's only going to be 150 people at this event. 150 boated to a private island. John Gordon and I open the event. And then you've got Drew Hanlon. You've got Renee Rodriguez. Todd Herman, who helped Kobe Bryant develop Mamba mentality. Shantae Lowe, 4-time Olympic champion, gold medalist. You've got Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, Corral Muhays, Renee Rodriguez. And then an extra day, if you want to stand an extra day, with Phil Heath and Tim Grover and I. These are the events, members of our Uncommon Live, they typically buy all the tickets. So you better get a ticket if you want a ticket because they're going to buy them all. You see, this is what I love. These communities that we can build and the opportunity. That community was built because of one of the greatest challenges and adversities that many of us face, that many people are still complaining about, and you say you still haven't recovered from it, and that was in 2020. You have to stop living to your feelings and allow those standards, the standard over feelings mindset, to help you drive your highest level of success, regardless of your circumstance, regardless of if it's a political year, regardless of what the media says. And you got to lean in and attack every day. And once again, when you have those Ed Milettes that have loved on me the way that he has, lean in and take the advice. If you don't have a coach, go get coaching. What the hell have you ever seen? Have you ever seen a team win a championship without a coach and you're showing up in life without a coach? And I don't care if you use me for coaching because I'm not for everybody. I tend to get a little bit intense like I'm doing right now, but there's a fiery opportunity to pour into you because it means that much. Go coach with somebody else, but stop trying to do it by yourself. There's nothing wrong with seeking the advice and guidance that's needed for you to become the best that you can be. This is your opportunity that you're never going to get back. So when you have those people who love and care about you, who ask you the questions because they're seeking to understand, is the model right? Are you showing up right? Lean in. Be willing to break down the game film of your life. That's what Ed was doing that night, just checking in with me. Are you building this right? And then he understood the impact and he understood my heart on a deeper level. That I thrive on being the individual that the leaders and coaches call. And you guys have no idea when I get those phone calls. Many of you think you know the work that I do. You have no idea. You think I give a locker room talk. That's 2% of the work that I did at Alabama and Kansas State. So much of what I do, people never even know. For those of you that do know, thank you for allowing me to be a part of your story, a part of your journey, a part of your fight. Maybe I've shared some things that you keep in front of you. Thank you. Because that's an honor for me, because I've learned that those examples of Ed in my life, my mom's words that I still see, how she showed up in life, to ignite that burn inside of me. That's what makes the difference. I wanted to pour into you today without a guest because this was just on my heart. Knowing that so many of you, we get into a year, you get into a year, and when you get into the year, you say, I'm going to start fast, and you do. We know when we get to the end of the year, I'm going to finish strong, and maybe you do. But this period of time that we're in right here, right now, this second quarter where maybe some of you have been letting it get away. Because that first quarter was so good, you've been seduced by success. You better grab a hold of it because every day matters. Lean in and attack one day at a time. Standard over feelings. The more days you win, and if you believe what I believe from the greatest lesson I've ever learned from my mom, it's not how long you live, it's how you choose to live your life. You can actually choose to win every day. Doesn't mean you're going to make some big sale every day. Doesn't mean you're going to win a championship every day, but you can win every day with great discipline and behavior. And when you stack those days, the byproduct is winning at very high levels and you drive continual peak performance in your life. Let's spend more time together. If this has hit you a little bit, to shake you up, to say, you know what? I haven't been living with enough detail. I haven't been challenging myself. I haven't been breaking down the game film. Reach out to our team. I'm going to put a link in the call notes. You can schedule time with our team, workwithbnc.com, and let's have a conversation. Maybe you join Uncommon Live. Maybe you want to come out to one of our events. Come to Puerto Rico. I'm telling you, this boot camp is going to blow your mind, the level of detail, attention, experience, and life-changing mindsets that you will walk away with. And if you're a coach or a leader that wants to know, why are these coaches and leaders calling me? Schedule time with the team, same link, workwithbnc.com, and let's talk about coach to coaches. You can learn more about that program at thecoachtocoaches.com. We'll put all this in the call notes. But the bottom line is, I don't want you settling. I don't want you being seduced by success. I don't want you to keep you from driving continual peak performance. We're in this fight together. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be your guest on The Burn today. Just you and I, one-on-one for this coaching. So that you don't let this second quarter slip away. You don't let any of your days slip away. And you continue from embracing your challenge and adversity, which is when you build your greatest strength. And from connecting to your burn every damn day, you go write one hell of a story. This has been The Burn, and I look forward to seeing you next week.